Good morning, students. A very warm welcome to the BOS live learning classes from ICAI. Today, we are doing paper 2, section B, business correspondence and reporting. And the topic for discussion today is Precis writing. So it's an interesting topic. It's a new topic. I would request all of you to be attentive in class. Please feel free to ask all the relevant doubts. What is the weightage? What are the options? Everything can be found out later, but the topic should be understood right now. It's a small request to all students. Don't worry about the weightage, but please worry about the kind of questions, how to attempt them, what exactly is a Precis, how to write it, and what are the different nuances of this new topic. Okay, so a warm welcome to everybody. Dhruv, Anant is here, Khushi is here. I can see a lot of students who've been with me in the last classes also. Pooja, Shazia, Pranati, Divya. Good morning, Ashish and Bhumika. So welcome again, and let's start. So have you ever heard something about what is a summary? Can anybody tell me in class what is a summary? You've been doing it in CBSE, you've been doing it at school level, maybe right from grade 5 when you start reading books. The teacher asks you, please write a summary of the book you have read. So just tell me what is a summary, and then I'll kind of take forward my class. Okay. So I'm waiting for your answers. Everybody is wishing good morning. A very good morning to everybody present in class. I will not be able to name everybody, but yes, Ashok is here, Rishika, Sahana, Deepika, Vartika, everybody. Okay, so quickly tell me what is a summary as per your understanding. Last class I asked, I hope everybody has started reading the study material. It's a very, very well crafted study material. Everything is so apt. It's not just for the BCR exam, but also for your later preparation when you become a CA, when you are joining an MNC, when you're joining a corporate, when you're starting your own practice. The kind of things you should know which come from business communication is what exactly is targeted. So please, it's an earnest request. Refer to your study material. It's like the main guide to your exam. All the practice questions, all the examples, and of course, the MTPs and the RTPs on the BOS portal. Please do the effort of practicing, because this is not a paper which is formula based. It's not like 2 plus 2 is 4. There are many other factors you have to understand, which will be possible only when you practice. So I'm requesting everybody, please practice a lot from your study material. And of course, the questions which we will be discussing here in the live class, all that is also very important. Okay, I'm waiting for the answers. Okay, thank you so much. I've got a couple of them. Summary is the gist of the content. Okay, Shamili, gist is GIST, just to let you know. Okay, a brief, basically. Quick review, very good, Manisha. Krishnam also says gist, which is GIST, Krishnam, it is not J. Highlights, Prutha says, okay, good morning, Akib. Jia says summary is a brief story. Dipanshu, it's not an introduction. Introduction is just the first part of a story, but summary takes care of the whole story, no matter how long it is. But the basic part of the story, which as if the story can be told in the shortest possible way, that is a summary. So it's not just referring to the introduction. Fine. The brief description is fine. Yes, Mr. Om, summary is basically a shortened version of a long para. Highlights, Pritha says again. Brief intro. Again, Sahana, it's not an intro. Don't get confused. Short description of the main idea. Okay. 25% of the whole given passage. Very good. That's very correct. Om Gupta. Okay, 1/4 of the passage, many of you have written. Yes, Palak, correct. Okay, so all of you, I think, are very well aware about what is a summary. I don't see a doubt. Akib says crux of the story, very good. One thing of the passage with the title. Again, Sanjana, it's not one thing of the passage. It is everything of the passage in a shortened way. Okay. Right. So I'm glad that you all are aware about what is a summary. So just to recapitulate what I feel, I'm just giving it to you in my words. Summary is the shortened version taking care of all the important aspects of the given passage or a story or a novel. such that even if I haven't read the original text, if I read the summary, I get a very good idea about what the story is about. It can be for a comprehension passage, it can be for a chapter, it can be for a full book, it can be for a report, it can be for note making. Remember, we did summary in note making. I hope everybody is keeping track of that. And it can be for, like, maybe when you write a resume also, sometimes you are expected to write a summary. So summary can be used in various forms, but the catch today is we are not doing summary, we are doing Precis, which is not a summary, but people mistake it to be a summary. That's why I'm asking you, summary kya hoti hai? Please, everybody be very careful. Whenever you hear the word Precis, just remember it is not summary. This is some mistake which people have taken out to be true. And even when you write in the exam, we come across answers where it's exactly written like a summary, but it's not that way. Okay. Now, what is a Precis? How to go about it? We'll start. Shreya, it's not the conclusion. Conclusion is different. So when I talk about an introduction, when I talk about the body of the passage, and then I talk about the conclusion, this is the structure in which a particular writing text should be there. But if I ask you the summary is just the most important aspects of the given passage, which if I read, I am very clear about the whole passage. Okay, got it, everybody? Well, thank you so much for giving me all the wonderful answers. I appreciate this, that you are attempting and you are aware of what is a summary. Now we'll start the actual Precis slide. Just give me a minute. I'll just make it a full screen slide. Okay, so Precis writing. Now, this is the first introduction about what is Precis. Yeah, we'll come to that, Komalpreet. We'll come to that. What is a Precis? I'm not able to shorten the sentences in the note making, although I used to practice, which helps me a lot. So Akib, it's helping you a lot, right? So you keep practicing. I'm sure somewhere or the other you will succeed. Yes, Yash, the content in a nutshell, that's a perfect way of answering. So let's get back to the first slide. Precis is a French word. You can see a small dash over the E. That is one reason why you should know that it's a French word. It's not an English word. And so we say Precis. Okay. It simply means to shorten in your own words, which is when I ask you, I give you a passage, you have to shorten it in your own words. I'll say, please write a Precis. It involves an accurate and concise description of a given text, and it is not an outline. So outline is basically that, okay, so I'll say, for example, you watch a movie or you read a book. So the outline is, the setting is in a village, there is a hero and a heroine, they get married and it's against the caste, and then something happens and they die. That's the broader view of the story. That's an outline. But Precis goes into more detail. That's why I'm saying it's a little difficult to understand the difference between an outline, a Precis, and a summary. But yes, if you pay attention, you will be very, very clear about it. Okay, so let's start. Let me have a look at the query. Nandini, you have to check with the people in the office. I wouldn't have an idea about all this. Okay. So what I'm trying to say is you have to be very concise. You all understand the word concise? So there are these various words which we use to understand what is the shortened version. For example, this word concise plays a very important role. Then we have this word accurate. This is very, very important because if there is a fact given in the story, let's say we're talking about a passage which is a story-based passage, and if there are some facts given and I change the facts while I'm writing the Precis, it will be considered wrong. You will lose marks. If it's about marks, you will definitely lose it. If it's not about marks, then you're not doing the right job. So please make sure your content, whatever you are writing, is accurate. Okay, that is most important. Second, it is short, it is concise, it is not an in-depth learning. उस इन डेप्थ लर्निंग में रिसर्च इन्वॉल्व होती है, ऐसे राइटिंग इन्वॉल्व होता है, बट प्रेसी में सब कुछ पढ़ के आपने एक फिल्टर आउट करनी है इंफॉर्मेशन को एंड एक ऐसे वे में प्रेजेंट करनी है सच दैट the reader enjoys reading it, he doesn't get bored, and he's still getting all the relevant information which he needs to know. Okay, clear till here? Any doubts on this slide, you may ask, otherwise I'll proceed. I'll make sure that every slide is clear to you. I am not in a hurry. We have 2 classes for Prezi. Today is one, day after tomorrow is the next one. Please remember, every point in my slide should be clear. That is the first step towards being confident about the topics. Concise means small, shorten, okay? Last point, Chetna, means it is not an outline where you are only giving the broader discussion about the story. Where did it happen, what happens, and what is the end? That is the outline. जैसे आप किसी बॉक्स का आउटलाइन बनाते हो, सो आप सिर्फ बाहर बाहर का स्ट्रक्चर इंक्लूड कर रहे हो. What is inside you are not telling. Hence we say Prezi is not an outline. ठीक है? It does involve the inside story also. Yeah, Sakshi, please read. Thank you, Ruhani. It's clear. Kaushiki, clear. Great. Om and Anjali, clear. Akib, I'll come to that in few minutes. Okay, let's go slowly. Dhruv, are you not listening? I've been discussing for the last 10 minutes what is Prezi, and suddenly you say Prezi writing means. Please be attentive in class. It's very easy, you know, that suddenly you come up with a question, what was that? But for me, I have time constraints and space constraints. So I would really request if you don't keep asking the same question again and again, again. Okay, thanks. Anant, Palak, Suhana, Ankita, very good. Akruti and Palak, great. Sakshi is asking, we have to write in our own sentences. Yeah, I'll come to that. Let me change my slide, then you'll understand how exactly it is to be written. Okay, thanks, Juhi. So now moving on. This is the very important thing which I will discuss again. This is just a reference because everybody is asking, you know, every 2 minutes I'm getting a query. What is the difference between summary and Prezi? What is the difference? So I'm just telling you this. Okay, I'll come to this difference explanation again. So don't worry, take your time. Now, Prezi, it says, is a brief statement. On the other hand, summary is a short account. So brief is, if I want to explain it in simple words, brief is shorter than short. Brief is lesser than short. So if it's in the order, सबसे छोटा Prezi, उससे छोटा summary, sorry, उससे बड़ा summary, and उससे भी बड़ा तो main passage है. It's that way in order. So Prezi is even shorter than a summary. Okay. Second point is the most important. Just put it in your mind and let it retain there. Don't change the second point. Prezi always follows the order of the content given in the passage. अगर पैसेज में पहले फॉरेस्ट के बारे में डिस्क्रिप्शन है, फिर वैली के बारे में है, फिर प्लेन्स के बारे में है, फिर माउंटेन्स के बारे में है, आपके प्रेसी में भी एग्जैक्टली वही ऑर्डर फॉलो होना चाहिए. While on the other hand, when I'm writing a summary, I'm free to play around with the positions. I'm free to play around with the locations. I want to discuss the mountain first because maybe I have some other opinion. So I'll try to change the order. I'll bring the mountains and then the valley, then the plains, then the plateaus. I can do anything. Okay. So summary is more freehand, while Prezi is more restricted. Because in Prezi, I cannot change the order. Okay. Clear, everybody? Second point, you will not forget. It is the most important point. Okay, what query do I have? Anything here? No. Okay, fine. Okay, so third thing is, Prezi is only telling me what the author wants to say, the writer wants to say, while summary is allowing me to include my own ideas. Okay, the word writer in the summary discussion is basically the one who is writing the summary. Might not be the same person who has written a book. For example, Mr. XYZ has written a book. and you are writing a summary. So Mr. XYZ has published the book. It's a very interesting book, but Rishika has been given the task to write the summary. So Rishika can actually play around with the thought. She can include her own opinion. She can write her own ideas, but she has to relate it to the summary of the story given. So the inclusions of ideas is allowed in a summary. Pressy, not allowed. Okay. Sixth chapter. Sixth chapter, Yash, was Introduction to Basics of Writing. Okay. I think we've done that already. Last class was on Introduction to Basics of Writing. Okay, fine. We'll come to that, Rishika, where to use it. So Gautam, they don't contain the same content. That's what I'm trying to tell you. If they contain the same content, why do you need two different words for them? Isn't it? ये तो आप खुद सोचो ना. अगर सेम ही चीज लिखनी है दोनों में, then I don't need a word pressy and I don't need a word summary. प्रेसी में बहुत ज्यादा छोटा कंटेंट होता है. ओके. समरी में ज्यादा बड़ा कंटेंट होता है. गॉट इट? ब्रीफ का मतलब स्मॉल. ब्रीफ इज लाइक लिटरली स्मॉल. ओके. Okay, fine. No other problem here. Okay, as long as there is no other query, we are sorted with the second point. Now let's, third point also. Now let's come to the fourth point. What about article writing group? Why did you write this? We are still doing Pressy, right? Why are you jumping to a new topic? Please stay with the class. Don't hurry. Whatever is being done in a certain order. So please don't give me these ideas about article writing, etc. Okay. It's more realistic and crisp. It's more creative and free. The very fact that you cannot change the ideas in a Pressy makes it more real, makes it more sharp, makes it more accurate. Because जो लिखा है वही लिखा है, आप उसके आगे पीछे कुछ भी change नहीं कर सकते when it comes to Pressy. But जब हम summary की बात करते हैं, थोड़ा free hand allowed है, थोड़ा आप अपने बारे में अपने आइडियाज इन्वॉल्व कर सकते हो, अपना थॉट रिगार्डिंग द स्टोरी इन्वॉल्व कर सकते हो, अपना ओपिनियन बता सकते हो, थॉट्स एंड आइडियाज जो राइटर ने अपनी स्टोरी में लिखे हैं उनको आप ऊपर नीचे कर सकते हो. सो समरी इज मोर इजी टू राइट बिकॉज देयर इज मोर क्रिएटिविटी. Pressy is a little difficult to write because you have to stick to the order. You have to be very, very realistic. You cannot play around with words. अगर ऑथर ने किसी ऐसी बात को लिखा है जहां पे कोई नेगेटिव टोन आ रही है, you have to retain that negative tone. अगर किसी सेंटेंस में ऑथर इज प्रेजिंग समथिंग, तो आपके प्रेसी में भी उस चीज को प्रेज किया जाएगा. आपको पसंद है या नहीं, इट डज नॉट मैटर. दैट्स नॉट रेलेवेंट. ओके. Note making summary is similar to Pressy as we cannot. Ha, Ruhani, kind of, although the topics are very different. Note making is making notes for a particular purpose, but Pressy is just the shortened version. But yes, since if you want to talk about the realistic part of it, then yes, because notes also have the same content which are there in the passage. Pressy will also have the same content which is there in the passage. Okay? Are these 4 points clear? So if in your question paper you get this, please write the difference between Pressy and summary. You should be able to give me at least these 4 points. Okay? बहुत जरूरी है. I want these 4 points. अगर आपने एक भी point miss किया, you'll straight away lose marks. Got it, everybody? So please, please, please don't waste any time. Have a look at this. जितना अच्छे से आप कर सकते हैं उसको याद कीजिए. And very importantly, okay, what is this query? Fine. Okay, so most of you are saying we are understanding. ठीक है. Krishnandan. Realistic and crisp. आप बताओ realistic क्या होता है? As long as your knowledge goes, what do you mean by something which is realistic? Crisp is something which is exactly what is there in the story. Accuracy, sharpness, that is what crisp means. We cannot have an extended pressy. हम ज़्यादा pressy को लंबा नहीं कर सकते. Pressy को बिल्कुल छोटा रखना होता है. जितना छोटा रखोगे उतना to the point रखोगे. That is what sharp, crispness means. Okay. Yes, Harshita, why not? Anything can be asked in the exam. Okay. Clear? Okay, so we'll end at Harshita's question. So I'm happy that you all have understood the difference. Please remember, अगर आपको ये difference समझ नहीं आएगा तो आप आगे attempt नहीं कर पाओ. So please understand everything very carefully. Yes, Sakshi, anything can be asked. So don't just rely on one word answer questions or two word answer questions. You have to be thorough with everything in the exam. Don't do a selective study. अगर BCR के पेपर में full 40 marks लाने हैं तो आपके पास इतना टाइम होना चाहिए कि आपने स्टडी मटेरियल को कवर टू कवर अच्छे से पढ़ा है and you have not left anything unread. Okay? Okay, so what exactly happens is, Sadab, summary ka, there is no standard rule. That's just a taken to be rule. So jo aap bol rahe ho ki Prezi is 1/3 of the paragraph, but summary is 1/4. Basically, we don't follow that 1/4 of the rule because sometimes summary can go longer, but Prezi can never go longer. That's why I'm not using the terms 1/3 and 1/4. That creates even more confusion. Okay, because these things were little conventional. Nowadays, the trends have changed. We don't stick to the 1/4 rule in a summary. That is the reason I'm avoiding putting any of that number here. But yes, it's there in the textbook because honestly, when you sit down to write your Prezi or summary, we don't consider the number of lines. We don't consider the number of words. We don't even consider the percentage. It's just that आपको basic लिखना है, आप लिखते हो. We don't expect you to count the number of words. Okay, Sadap? Thank you very much for taking up that point. That's a very, very genuine query. And I appreciate the fact that आपने book भी पढ़ी है और आप class में भी attentive हो. That actually makes me feel motivated that, you know, there are students like Sadab who are asking such a good question. Thank you so much. Amit, again, I'm saying number of lines depends on passage कितना लंबा है. अगर passage ही 100 lines का है, then 4 to 5 lines will not do. So this is very relative to what exactly do you have to write a Prezi on. Okay. Prabhu, I just now explained that twice and thrice. I'll come to that, Ankita. Shravani, I think the others don't have a problem. So please check at your end. There may be some error. It's fine at my end. Yes, Yash, that's what it means. So you are writing all the content in a certain way that you are just filtering out the redundant information and you are putting the most important information in the particular order as mentioned in the text. And you're also allowed to be, and you're not allowed to be creative while you're writing the Prezi. Okay? Yes. There is no word limit as such. When you do examples on Prezi, you will understand how short it can be. Okay, now comes the next slide where you should realize there are 5 C's needed for Prezi writing, and this is like the magic mantra for doing a good Prezi. Magic mantra. If you follow these 5 C's, you will never go wrong with the Prezi writing. Okay. So Angel and Sowan and Bidisha and Kaushiki, I just now said we'll discuss the number of words because there is no specific word limit. But when you do a Prezi writing, you'll understand how much should be written and how much should be omitted. Okay. So please have a look at this. Now, if I ask you a simple question, how many of you know the meaning of all these 5 words? Let me test your English. How many of you have heard these words and you also know the meaning? सिर्फ heard है तो नहीं बताना है. You have heard them and you know the meaning, so please write it in the chat box. Clarity, coherence, conciseness, completeness, correctness. All 5 C's. Also, this is a figure of speech, if you remember from your school days. It's a poetic device. It's called alliteration, where the first alphabet of all the words in the list are same. Fastest finger first. Something like that. Okay. Summer, sun, soars, sometimes. So that's another alliteration. Yeah, we'll do the format, Dolly. Okay, Apurva and Razeen and Om. So these 3 people say that they know all the 5 words. Very good, Manisha. Okay, Sakshi, Sanjana, Muskan also know. Very good. Rihani also knows. Yes, very good, Rihani. They were there in the communication chapter also. You can, Krishnandan. अगर आपको लिखना है तो आप लिख लीजिए. Good, Saloni. Yeah, Harshita. Okay, great. So everybody knows you've done those 7 season communication, out of which these are the 5. Okay. So clarity is something which is being very, very clear. Whatever is written is understandable. That is what clarity means. अगर आपने कुछ लिखा है और वो समझ ही नहीं आ रहा है, वो clear ही नहीं है, then the first step itself goes wrong. And that is the worst you can do. अगर आप ऐसा आंसर कर रहे हो, आप ऐसा प्रेसी लिख रहे हो जिसमें पढ़ने वाले को समझ ही नहीं आ रहा है, then you have not prepared. तो उसमें पढ़ने वाले की गलती नहीं है, आपकी गलती है. इसीलिए रिक्वेस्ट करते हैं कि क्लियर बात करो. डोंट बीट अराउंड द बुश. डोंट गो लाइक इन अ सर्कमवेंटिंग वे. गोल गोल नहीं घुमाना है. इंग्लिश लैंग्वेज या हिंदी लैंग्वेज हो या कोई भी लैंग्वेज हो, एज लॉन्ग एज यू आर डूइंग कम्युनिकेशन, लेट इट बी एज क्लियर एज पॉसिबल. ठीक है. नेक्स्ट कम्स कोहेरेंस. कोहेरेंस इज बेसिकली when I say your ideas are not coherent, what does that mean? I'm sure आप लोगों ने सुना होगा ये word कहीं. Ideas not being coherent. So everything in a Prezi, if I say should be coherent, means it should be logical, it should be reasonable, it should be, let's say, in a certain order, and very importantly, it should have a consistency. So when I say coherent ideas, सब कुछ एक flow में होना चाहिए, logical होना चाहिए, and reasonable होना चाहिए. You can't write anything and everything for a an incoherent lesson. Okay, very good. Yes, Maurya, coherence, something which shows connections clearly. I appreciate, very good. Okay, so Jia has explained the meaning of all these 5 words. Very good, Jia. That's a good job you have done. Okay, so I'll just read out Jia's answer. She's written clarity, clear, coherence, depth of the message, conciseness, very brief, completeness, complete facts, everything included, and correctness, correct information. Good job, Jia. This is really nice. You have explained everything in a very right manner. I appreciate that. Okay, now I'm happy everybody is trying to explain it. Good. Prayukta, the sequence doesn't matter. It's just a list. It's just a random list. So the sequence of this doesn't matter. These are just 5 C's needed for Prezi. Okay. It's not that you have to write it in this order. Yes. Preferably there should be a dash over E because that's how the word is spelled. Yes, Ruhani. Coherent means logical and consistent. So I am happy you all know all the English and everything is great. Yes, Sakshi. Okay. Okay, great. Very good. So all of you have understood. And Preci, like Yash was asking, has to be written with an E over a dash over the E. Conciseness we talked about is the shortened version. Jitna concise hoga, jitna chota hoga. We had the word concise in a slide before this also. If you remember, if you would have paid attention, तो आपको concise मिल जाता. Completeness is पूरा complete. सब कुछ include किया गया है. कुछ भी missed out नहीं है. कुछ भी omit नहीं किया है. That is completeness. मतलब everything is a perfect whole. Whole is in as in WHOLE. Okay. And last of course correct का मतलब तो correct ही होता है जो कि ठीक है. It's right as per the given information. It is not wrong. It's true. That is correct. Okay. Yes, Tanvi, all important information should not be omitted. Very good. Okay, Dolly, yes, you've written it correct. Manisha has written it correct. Sakshi has also written it. Utkarsh has understood. Thank you so much, guys. So this is what I wanted to tell you. If these 5 things are part of your Preci, ऐसा नहीं होता है कि जब आप Preci लिख रहे हो तो आपको सोचना है कि अच्छा मुझे कोहेरेंट लिखना है, मुझे क्लैरिटी लानी है, मुझे करेक्टनेस लानी है. ऐसे सोचते नहीं है. It should be part of your writing. It should come from within you. जब आप लिख रहे हो तो हम ये 5 चीजें सोचने की जरूरत नहीं है. It's just that we know a Preci has to include all these 5. So when you write, these things should come out like a flowing river. अपने आप बाहर आनी चाहिए. ठीक है? Okay. So we'll go step by step. Clarity is, as the word says, clear. It's free of ambiguity. Ambiguity means 2 meanings, 3 meanings, unclear nahi hai. Everything is transparent. I can see through the word. I can understand the word. Everything is as clear as a crystal. Okay. What figure of speech is as clear as a crystal? If anybody can guess that. Yes, Akib, you can. No, Sahana. Correctness is about things being right. Concreteness is about things being solid, substantial. Okay. So tell me what is as clear as crystal. What figure of speech is it? Crystal clear likha hai, clear thoughts likha hai, clear sky likha hai, clear your room likha hai. I'm trying to tell you, very good. So Savio, Apurva, Shrestha, Diksha, Saloni, Divisha, Khushi, Varun, Ruhani, wow. Sushyang, Yamini, Diksha, awesome. So all of you. Soumya, it's not a metaphor. Okay, so everybody who has answered correctly. Soumya, yours is not correct. And Sulakshana, it's not personification. It's a simile. The moment you use the word like and as, it becomes a simile. Okay? Remember all this. ये तो आपने school में किया है. And this is what your basis of English is. अगर आप school level भूल जाओगे तो आप आगे कैसे जाओगे? And these are things which help you beautify your language. अगर आपकी language अच्छी है, अगर आपकी language interesting है with similes and metaphors, then you can definitely be a very smart writer. Okay? Anyways, okay, thanks. Very good. Alliteration, Jignesh Pal. Your name is Pal, right? आपको पता है alliteration क्या होता है? Okay, so can you understand the examples? These are the different ways we use the verb clear. I'm going very slowly so that किसी को कुछ problem ना हो. One by one, we'll take care of the steps. Next comes coherence. You all know the meaning. मुझे समझाने की जरूरत नहीं है. But just as part of my part of my teaching, I think I should take care of all the meanings. So consistent क्या होता है? Something which goes with the flow. So if I say Shubham Gill's Shubham Gill's performance has been consistent throughout all matches, which means he's playing really well. Every match he's coming up with a better performance and he's not degrading. He's rather doing very good in all matches. Same was said to be true for Sachin Tendulkar. If somebody plays well in a match and then next 3 matches he's not good and then 4th match he's good and then 5th, 6th he's not very good, दैट्स कॉल्ड इरेटिक परफॉर्मेंस. ऊपर नीचे हो रही है, कंसिस्टेंट नहीं है. ओके, so something which is consistent and it's in depth, it's reasoned out, it's justified, is called coherence. So when you write an article or when you write an essay, the teacher always says make sure your ideas are coherent. Coherent का मतलब सब एक दूसरे से जुड़े हुए हैं, लॉजिकली एक के बाद एक के बाद एक के बाद एक फॉलो हो रहा है, कुछ भी ब्रेक नहीं है, कुछ भी बीच में गैप नहीं है. ओके, कोहेरेंट स्पीचेस होती हैं. And reports should be coherent. Again, any written content, any spoken content which is meant for a specific purpose should be coherent. आप फ्रेंड्स के साथ बात कर रहे हो तो आप कुछ भी बात कर सकते हो. देन आई डोंट चेक कि आपने कितना अच्छा बोला, कितना क्लियर बोला, कितना कोहेरेंट बोला, कितना कंसिस्टेंट बोला. तो उसमें और नॉर्मल टॉक में फिर कोई डिफरेंस ही नहीं रहेगा. बट फॉर्मल कम्युनिकेशन में कोहेरेंस लाना बहुत जरूरी है. Yes, Kriti, I will upload it. Ambiguity is उसमें clarity नहीं है, कुछ double answers निकल रहे हैं, double thoughts आ रहे हैं. I won't say double meaning because that might hinge towards something else, but बहुत unclear है, vague answers हैं, that is ambiguous. Yes, oh, alliteration is that. Yes, Anjali, I'm getting your answers. Don't worry, I'm getting everybody's answers. So everybody is explaining to me what is alliteration. Good. So one day we'll have a proper English grammar class where we'll do alliterations and similes and metaphors and onomatopoeias. Abhi, let's move ahead with the Precis writing part of it. ठीक है? So आप सबको Precis का second part समझ आ गया, coherence. Let's move to the third part, conciseness. Conciseness means कितना आप short लिख सकते हो, which is the toughest part of writing. I can write words and words and words and fill in pages and pages and pages and make a PhD thesis out of everything. But जब मुझे कोई बोलता है ना छोटा करके लिखो, that's the challenge, that's the struggle, that's the obstacle कि इतने बड़े content को मुझे squeeze down करना है. That's what you guys should try. Take up an article from a newspaper, editorial ले लो, अच्छा article ले लो, या रीडिंग कॉम्प्रिहेंशन के पैसेजेस हैं जो आपके आईसीआई मटेरियल में, आप वो ले लो. उनमें से कुछ भी लेके ना जस्ट ट्राई टू रिड्यूस इट इनटू द मिनिमम नंबर ऑफ वर्ड्स पॉसिबल, येट रिटेनिंग द एसेंस ऑफ द स्टोरी. ऐसा नहीं कि आपको बोला जा रहा है कि 200 वर्ड्स दिए हैं, आपको इसको 50 वर्ड्स में करना है. अब आप कुछ भी रैंडम लिख दोगे, दैट्स नॉट करेक्ट. इट हैज टू हैव अ मीनिंग, इट हैज टू हैव एन ऑर्डर, इट हैज टू गो इन अ सर्टेन कोहेरेंट क्लियर वे, तब जाके आपका आंसर परफेक्ट होगा. ओके, कंसाइज के यूसेज मैंने दिया है. कंसाइज आर्टिकल मतलब छोटा, कंसाइज अकाउंट ऑफ द हिस्टोरिकल इवेंट. सो इफ आई आस्क यू what exactly happened in 1914, what is the first world war, so you will not start telling me about the reasons for the first world war, the triple entente, the triple alliance. आप ये सब नहीं बताओगे, आप straight away मुझे एक छोटा सा ब्रीफ अकाउंट दे दोगे कि हुआ क्या था फर्स्ट वर्ल्ड वॉर में. एंड स्पेसिफिकली वी यूज दिस फॉर हिस्टोरिकल इवेंट्स बिकॉज देयर इज सो मच टू टेल. अगर मैं आपको बोलूं कि हल्दी घाटी की लड़ाई हुई थी तो बताओ मुझे क्या क्या हुआ. आई एम श्योर यू विल हैव लाइक डेज एंड डेज टू एक्सप्लेन कहाँ से कौन आया, कितनी आर्मी थी, कितने डेथ्स हुए, कितने इंजर हुए, शाम को सनसेट के बाद क्या डिस्कशंस हुई. नो, इट्स लाइक अ स्टोरी, यू कैन मेक अ मूवी आउट ऑफ इट. बट हमें मूवी नहीं बनानी है, हमें सिर्फ ट्रेलर बनाना है. एंड ट्रेलर को भी ऐसे बनाना है कि सब कुछ ऑर्डर में दिखाया जाए. सो व्हेन यू सी अ मूवी ट्रेलर, आपने देखा होगा लास्ट सीन पहले आ रहा होता है, इट्स अ मर्डर मिस्ट्री, तो मर्डर कहीं मूवी के लास्ट में हुआ है बट वो दिखाते पहले हैं, और वैसे वर्सा. कोर्ट रूम ड्रामा है तो इतना ज्यादा सेंसेशनल करके दिखाते हैं कि मे बी द वन डायलॉग इज एम्फोसाइज, वैसे जो ड्रामा में कुछ नहीं हो रहा है. सो ट्रेलर में भी फ्री हैंड पॉसिबल है, बट हमारे प्रेसी में नो फ्री हैंड पॉसिबल. ठीक है, ओके. नाउ लेट मी कम बैक टू द डाउट्स. आई थिंक द स्टूडेंट्स आर हैप्पी विद मी डूइंग द पोएटिक डिवाइसेस. अब आप लोग सब एलिटरेशन सिमिलीज के बारे में ही डिस्कस कर रहे हो. प्लीज लीव दैट, वी डोंट हैव टू डिस्कस दैट इन सो मच डिटेल. वो तो मैंने जब एक एग्जांपल दिया, आई रियलाइज दैट यू नो आई कैन आस्क यू अबाउट इट, इसीलिए आई वाज मेंशनिंग व्हाट इज अ सिमिली, एन एलिटरेशन एक्सेट्रा. Yes, Bidisha, exactly. That's very true what you're saying. Ayush, you can say that it's like a bridge type. सो अभी पूरी क्लास में ना सब लोग एलिटरेशन पे स्टिक हो गए हैं. एलिटरेशन क्या होता है मुझे वो समझाया जा रहा है. Divisha, that's just a casual example. So let's not compare whether trailer summary hai ya presi. I just said that for helping you understand my point. Okay? Fine. So now I'm showing you a simple example. So before we take a break at around 11:50, you have 10 minutes. Please read the first 5 to 6 lines, which is the passage, and uske niche the kind of presi I have written for it. Okay? आप लोग चाहो तो आप भी अटेम्प्ट कर सकते हो, बट पहले एक एग्जाम्पल देख लो कैसे छोटा करना है, क्या क्या इंक्लूड करना है. एंड लाइक somebody had asked the title. So a pressy definitely needs a title. There are many things which go by default. Article होगा तो title होगा. Note making की summary है तो title है. Pressy है तो title है. Story है तो title है. Okay? सो टाइटल के बिना तो कोई लैंग्वेज की चीज लिखी ही नहीं जाती. Harshita, a pressy has to be written in a paragraph. No pointers. It's not a bullet list. It's a complete paragraph which makes sense. You can't even put random sentences and say, ठीक है अपने आप देख लो कौन सा कहाँ fit करना है. It's not that you are giving me a puzzle to solve. आपने खुद ही लिखना है, खुद ही इतना coherent and clear लिखना है that it looks like a mini paragraph. ठीक है? So I'm not speaking right now. You guys please read from cyclone amphion to the last word and then see my pressy and tell me, did you understand? Parveen ज़्यादा similar नहीं है, but हाँ points लिखने हैं तो उस point of view से similar है. Finish reading. Okay, Shamili, Vidipta have done. Great. Sahana, Prayukta have also done. Did you understand, Pressy? समझ आया आपको मेरा वाला shortened version देख के कि क्या exactly मैंने miss किया है and क्या exactly मैंने include किया है? I'm going slowly. I'm taking time. Please आराम से पढ़िए. Don't hurry. Once it is understood, you will never have a problem with all this. So it's about a cyclone amphion, which once upon a time struck the coasts of Bay of Bengal. So अगर आप देखोगे passage में स्टेट का नाम इंपॉर्टेंट है या सिटीज का नाम इंपॉर्टेंट है जहां जहां इफेक्ट हुआ है. स्पीड ऑफ द विंड्स इंपॉर्टेंट है. कौन सा एरिया या कौन सा स्टेट मैक्सिमम इफेक्ट हुआ है, वेस्ट बंगाल, उड़ीसा एक्सेट्रा. हुआ क्या था, हेवी रेन्स हुई थी. एंड वन थिंग विच वाज गुड दैट पीपल वर गिवन शेल्टर इन बोथ द स्टेट्स, इजंट इट. उसके बिसाइड्स नथिंग इज इम्पोर्टेंट. नाउ दिस इज वेरी सब्जेक्टिव, आई नो. आप बोल सकते हो शायद ईस्ट मिदनापुर लिखना चाहिए, 24 परगनास लिखना चाहिए, बट वो सब जरूरी ही नहीं है. बिकॉज अगर नीचे वाला पैसेज मैं पढ़ती हूँ विच इज एम्फन अटेम्प्ट्स डिस्ट्रक्शन एंड आई एम रीडिंग दोस 3 lines, I think I'm getting a clear picture कि what exactly happened and where exactly it happened. So अगर कोई news report हो रही है, something which is happening, like there were heavy rains on Sunday in the north of India. So what happened? the level of Yamuna has risen. We are expecting a lot of destruction. In fact, a lot of destruction has happened in states like Himachal, UP, Uttarakhand, Punjab. These states have been severely affected by the havoc caused by the heavy rains. So अगर मैं ऐसा कोई important event, important situation report कर रही हूँ, so मुझे ध्यान रखना है where did it happen, what exactly happened, what are the repercussions, what are the effects of that particular incident. अगर ये तीन चीजें बता देते हैं तो my report of whatever happened is complete in the form of a Precis. अगर सेम चीज आपको रिपोर्ट राइटिंग में करनी है तो वो बहुत ज्यादा डिटेल हो जाता है. ठीक है, आई होप यू आर नॉट गेटिंग कंफ्यूज्ड, बिकॉज कई बार होता है हम बहुत सारी चीजों के नाम ले लेते हैं कि आर्टिकल ऐसे लिखो, रिपोर्ट ऐसे लिखो, समरी ऐसे लिखो, एंड द स्टूडेंट्स फील कि मैम क्या कैसे लिखना है समझ ही नहीं आ रहा है, बिकॉज कभी आप कह रहे हो ऐसे, कभी आप कह रहे हो वैसे. सो आई एम नॉट यूजिंग अ लॉट ऑफ न्यू वोकैबुलरी वर्ड्स so that whatever is on screen is what I'm telling you and it matches with all that and you don't get confused. Great. So I'm getting so many understoods and I'm getting so many thumbs ups. It's so great. No, Satya, that's not needed. That's what Abhishek we are talking, no? What all to include? आप देखो मेरे प्रेसी में क्या included है, क्या excluded है. Repercussion means consequences, results, effects. Okay, so Ruhani, Shuhab, Shubham, Subuhan, Sadab, Shravani, Vindhya, Varun, Harshita, Ankita, all done. Okay, that was interesting. So are you clear with an example of Presi? आपको समझ आ गया कि कहाँ क्या करना है? 5 C's समझ आ गए, order समझ आ गया, difference between Presi and summary आ गया. Okay, great. Okay, this is the example 2 for which I am just showing you the example. You can read it. I'll take a break in 3 minutes. We'll stop at 11:50. We'll rejoin at 12 o'clock. Read this and write a Presi on your own. कुछ भी लिखना, सोच समझ के लिखो, put in your brain by whatever you have retained since the morning when we started class. Whatever you have been able to understand, please write a Presi based on this. The only request is we'll do it after the break. I'm just showing you the Presi कि आपको थोड़ा extra time मिल जाए पढ़ने का. And the words which I felt were a little difficult, मैंने वो bold में रखे हैं. So we'll discuss after the break time. Okay, Vidisha. Rishika, it's dangerous phase of cyclone. Okay, not to cyclone. To is uske liye. Off is uska. So off cyclone. Thank you, Pallavi. Thank you very much for the compliment. For the vocabulary, please remember the moment you find a difficult word, please usko note करके उसका meaning लिख लिया करो. I'm requesting you, every time you leave the meanings, it's not a good answer, it's not a good option. You will never remember the word. So whatever you come across as a difficult word, please note it down in a copy, have a copy maintained for your vocabulary. See the meaning of the word, see a few more synonyms, see a couple of antonyms, and then you are done. And maybe 10 days later, you can go through the whole list. Okay. Thank you, Shivam. Thanks a lot for that. It's so nice that you guys are understanding and you're appreciating also what we are doing in class. So it's really important to know that you have to understand the topic. I am explaining it to the level ki kuch bhi miss na ho jaye from the exam point of view. You should be confident. Okay. Okay, so have you all finished reading? Okay. So at that note, we'll take a short break for 10 minutes. We'll rejoin at 12. Then I will ask you to attempt a Prezi on this. I will not show you my answer. I have the answer here in the next slide. Good afternoon, students. Welcome to the live classes of ICAI. Welcome back after a short break. We are doing Precis writing. I hope whatever is done till now, आपको समझ आ रहा है. Please feel free to ask your doubts. Make sure your doubts are relevant and we utilize this platform in a very constructive way. अगर आप बहुत appropriate doubts पूछोगे जो आपको actually question paper attempt करने में help करेंगे, then I'm more than happy to answer them. Okay, so अभी तक जितना भी प्रेसी का हुआ है, I'll just give you a recap. Precis writing is different from summary writing. Precis writing has to be in the certain order, the way the text has been written. Precis writing involves no personal thoughts, no opinions. It has to be very crisp and accurate. And very importantly, you should give Precis a title. Okay, keeping this in mind, if you have to write a Precis and you follow the 5C rule, which is very similar to the 7 C's of communication, you will never go wrong with Precis. Fine. Okay. So I'm so happy Sulakshana and Ruhani have already written the Precis for the passage I showed. Very good. I'll share my screen and we'll come back to that. Okay, so this was the screen which I had shared and some of the students have written a good Precis. I'll just go through this. In the meantime, जिसने भी नहीं लिखा है, please लिख लीजिए. Practice करो because बिना practice के ये topic समझ नहीं आएगा. It's very important कि आप खुद लिख के practice करो. Don't rely on only reading all this. ठीक है? Okay. So Jia has given a good title, Child Labor Bane for the Country, which is a good option. Hitesh, आपका title है Child Labor is more important. Important than what? ऐसे टॉपिक में टाइटल ऐसा नहीं लिखते हैं कि आप उसको एम्फसाइज कर रहे हो कि बहुत अच्छा है चाइल्ड लेबर. इट इज मोर इम्पोर्टेंट मतलब वो होना चाहिए. बट ऐसा तो नहीं हम कह रहे हैं ना. तो आपके जो स्टेटमेंट है, आपका जो टाइटल है, उससे टोन बहुत डिफरेंट आ रही है. ठीक है, सो प्लीज रिवाइज कर लो अपना टाइटल. चाइल्ड लेबर इज नॉट अ ह्यूमन राइट. Okay, it is an issue of human rights. It's a problem. It's something which we have to discuss. It is not itself a basic human right. Get the difference, please. जिसने भी लिखा है ये, I think हर्षिता ने लिखा है, child labor is a basic human right issue. Okay, I'm sorry. मैंने पूरा नहीं पढ़ा, आपने issue लिखा है, ठीक है. हर्षिता बहुत ओपन एंडेड है. लास्ट के सेंटेंसेस में बहुत ब्रेक्स हैं. आपने सिर्फ वर्ड्स कॉपी कर लिए हैं बट उनका कुछ मतलब नहीं निकल रहा है. तो प्लीज हैव अ लुक. एक बार दोबारा स्टार्टिंग से लिख के दीजिए प्लीज. Okay, I'm reading Ruhani's now. Yes, a very good title. Child labor, a curse to society. Very good. Very good. Rohani has written a very nice Precis. I would like to read it out for everybody. Child labor, a curse to society. As propounded by Amartya Sen, Professor Amartya Sen, child labor is a basic human rights issue. Kin workers have marginal existence and their despondency decimates their self-esteem. Very good. An environment should be created by the government and the non-government organizations for these people where they can exercise legal, political, and economic rights. Okay, it's very well written. All the points are taken care of. Professor Amartya Sen has been mentioned. Where does child labor exist? जैसे kiln workers में होता है, वो express कर दिया है. How can you improve them? Ameliorate का क्या मतलब है? And last, NGOs and governmental organizations should do something so that people who are devoid of these rights, who are experiencing child labor, can exercise proper political, economic, and legal rights. Okay, good, Ruhani. So Lakshana, whenever you write a title, we don't say please. हम plead नहीं कर रहे हैं, ठीक है? Please stop child labor ऐसे नहीं लिखते हैं. Stop child labor आप वो लिख सकते हो. Mrs. Gauri, थोड़ा सा broken है because the last few sentences of your Prezi, I am unable to make any sense of them. So I would request you to go through the passage once again and then write a Prezi. Okay, Om, yours is fine. Jia, just please see because your answer is coming like repeatedly. It's coming 20 times in my chat. Just please check. Sneha, I should thank you for the efforts you are showing towards writing. Virisha, it's not rights of the child labor. Child labor is a human right issue. Painful mat likho, Krishnandan. Painful nahi hai. It's something which is not legal. Okay? We are not talking of the emotional angle about it being painful. Utkarsh, it's a very sharp title which you have given. Shame on the mankind. Okay? Because mankind itself is doing child labor. So it's not very correct to use such harsh words. It sounds very unpleasant. So please change your title. Yes, Jia, your Prezi is correct. I'm reading yours only. Shazia has also written a very good Prezi. Dhruv, you haven't attempted anything and you were just asking me the meaning of a word. आप अपना Prezi तो भेजो पहले. Yes, Shazia, I'm able to see yours. Okay, good. So till now, whoever has attempted, I have pointed out the names and you have done a good job when it comes to writing with the rules in mind, with the pointers in mind. I think Shazia and Jia and Ruhani have done a good job. The others, you need to little bit change. Mansi, yours is like good, but I'm sure there is a scope for improvement. Okay. Okay. Again, Saumili, we don't say nowadays it has become a basic human right. It has been a basic human right discussion. Okay, Akib, yours is fine. Harshita, there are so many practice questions in the textbook, in the study material. You can practice those. You can refer to the mock test papers. You can refer to the revision test papers. So many questions to practice. I read yours, Akib. That's what I'm saying. Yours can be a little better because आपने बहुत ज़्यादा vague लिखा है. You've only mentioned the kin workers. Last line you say the government has to uplift and then it is the duty of the government. थोड़ा और better हो सकता है in terms of language, but I won't say it's a bad attempt. It's a good attempt actually. Chanchal, your answers were reaching me till now, but right now if you've written a Prezi that I haven't got. Okay, I'm reading one more, then I'm moving to the final next slide, please. Plight of child laborers. Child labor is a basic human rights issue. They live a life of despair that decimates their self-esteem. To improve the condition of kiln workers, the government and NGOs should provide them legal, political, and economic rights. Okay, Savio, that's perfect. Miss Gunja Kumari, child labor is not a boon. Boon means a blessing. You are actually not getting the whole topic then. Khushi, I haven't received yours. Oh, yes, I have. Okay. So those of you who have written almost very close to perfection, but I still feel there is a scope for improvement. The more you practice, the better you will understand. So it's a request. Don't expect to write just very well in the first go. Everything takes a time. Rome was not built in a day. So when you are practicing some writing, you always need to give itself some time to get the grip of it, to get the catch of it. इतनी जल्दी अगर प्रेसी समझ आ गया तो फिर 2 क्लासेस की भी जरूरत नहीं है ना? आज ही प्रेसी आ गया, कल हम बीसीआर का पेपर दे देंगे, बट वैसा तो नहीं हो सकता ना. सो अपने आप को टाइम दो. करेक्ट एंड नॉट करेक्ट प्लीज डोंट आस्क मी, बिकॉज कुछ भी करेक्ट नहीं होता है. इट इज जस्ट दैट आप ऐसा लिखो कि रीडर को लगे कि हाँ, प्रेसी के सारे रूल्स फॉलो हो रहे हैं, प्रेसी को प्रेसी के जैसे लिखा गया है, उसमें समरी एंगल नहीं आ रहा है. एंड अगर मुझे 3 मार्क्स का आंसर अटेम्प्ट करना है या 5 मार्क्स का आंसर अटेम्प्ट करना है, आई एम नॉट बॉदर्ड अबाउट द मार्क्स. आई एम ओनली फॉलोइंग द रूल्स रिक्वायर्ड फॉर राइटिंग अ प्रेसी. ठीक है. नाउ बिफोर आई फॉरगेट, देयर आर सम really important words which you can see in the bold. I wanted to discuss with you because I'm facing this issue when I'm teaching students and when I'm seeing the write-ups you send. Many of you don't understand the meaning of a lot of vocabulary words, which I'm really feeling it's a big concern. Because अगर आपकी vocabulary अच्छी नहीं है, आप आगे नहीं बढ़ सकते language में. Okay. So subaltern, entitlement, respondent, decimate, ameliorate, pin workers, and spearhead. I'll show you the meaning. These are the meanings of the key words which actually make a difference in the passage. अगर आपको passage में कुछ involve करना है, तो ये words के meaning आपको पता होने चाहिए. So I request all of you, please go through the meanings. If you don't understand, then you can tell me right now. Okay. Please have a look at all the words. I'm waiting for a minute. I want you to read every word, every meaning, and then ask me whatever doubts you have. Despondency, decimate is a verb, despondency is a noun, ameliorate is a verb. आप हर word को अच्छे से समझिए. Done? Any doubts for spearheaded? I was expecting maybe this is a word जो आपको शायद नहीं समझ आएगा. Subaltern, Krishna. Krishna, see what does the meeting say? Okay, Tahira, I think I did not get it. Yeah, I got it, Tahira. Child is meant to learn, not to earn. Professor Amartya Sen propounded the child labor is a basic human rights issue, which has been in the subaltern tradition in history and economic theories, where we find kiln workers are invisible and bring a sense of despondency. Tahira, what I am seeing is you have copied a lot of it from the passage. ऐसे अगर आपका प्रेसी होगा तो थोड़ा इनकरेक्ट हो जाए. काफी कुछ आपने एग्जैक्टली वैसे ही कॉपी कर लिया है. Okay, so please have a look at that. Yeah, I'll do that, Bhumika. The PPT will be uploaded. You can have a look. So subaltern is somebody has a doubt, and despondency, Kriti has a doubt, and for spearheaded, Janvi has a doubt. Okay. So subaltern means there is always a hierarchy of power. So you have the, let's say if it's a monarchy. So the king is always very superior. After the king, the ministers have the role. After the ministers, the junior ministers have the role. And finally, the support staff or the praja of the village have a role, right? So subaltern कौन होता है जो उस पावर की हायरार्की से एक्सक्लूडेड है, which means अगर एक किंगडम में कोई भी डिसीजन लिया जाता है, so only the king and the ministers are in the hierarchy of power. Power किसके पास है? उनके पास है. जो normal people हैं, जो common man है, they don't have any power, so they are socially and politically termed as the subaltern. So those who are placed in a position where you do not exercise any power are called subalterns. Okay. Despondency means when you are feeling very, very low. I felt despondent when I realized I could not clear my exam. So a feeling of lowness, a feeling of sadness, a feeling of failure, a feeling of dejection is despondency. जब भी आपके साथ कुछ unexpected होता है in a bad way, in a sad way, we say we are feeling despondent. Okay. Then somebody is asking spearhead. आदित्य, सबॉल्टर्न का मतलब होता है जो ऐसी पोजीशन में प्लेस्ड है जहां उनके पास पावर नहीं है, जैसे कि कॉमन मैन. एक किंगडम में जो विलेज में प्रजा है या किंगडम में प्रजा है, दे डोंट हैव द पावर टू डिसाइड एनीथिंग, दे आर रेफर्ड टू एज सबॉल्टर्न. Spearhead is to lead. So if I say Nelson Mandela spearheaded the racist movement, the apartheid movement, he was the one to lead a movement to fight against black and white discrimination. So एक ऐसा आदमी या कोई ऐसा position जहाँ पे आपने initiative लेके एक movement start की, that is known to spearhead it. Then somebody is asking me kiln workers. Kiln workers, Sahana, are those that work in the brick making factories. So a lot of heat is involved. You have to work at a very higher temperature, which might just affect your hands and your body. They are called kiln workers. Okay, got it? Clear? Now, the purpose of my doing this vocabulary is, though it's not a vocabulary class, मैं ये बहुत बार feeling आ रही है मुझे कि आप लोग बिना वर्ड्स को समझे अटेम्प्ट कर रहे हो. अगर प्रैक्टिस क्वेश्चन है, प्लीज उस टाइम पे प्रैक्टिस कर रहे हो अगर, प्लीज स्टॉप एट दैट मोमेंट, हैव अ लुक एट द मीनिंग ऑफ द वर्ड, रेफर टू अ डिक्शनरी एंड देन मूव ऑन. उसके बिना पॉसिबल ही नहीं है आप एक अच्छा प्रेसी लिख पाओ या कोई भी आंसर इस पेपर में आप अटेम्प्ट कर पाओ. ठीक है? ओके. Now, this is another example. I'm doing examples for the sake that आपको भी समझ आ जाए and you can discuss your answers with me. Because once the class is over, क्या होगा? आप लोग भूल जाओगे. You will not attempt it. And when you don't attempt it, you will say BCR का paper बहुत मुश्किल था, we could not do it. So I don't want you to get that feeling. I want all of you to stay motivated, feel excited about the BCR paper, take it as a practice, take it as a learning, take it as fun. And for that, you should be very good at reading and writing skills. That's the only two things you require for your BCR paper. अगर आप एक regular reader हैं newspaper के, and if you are a regular writer, this paper does not need any specific preparation. You are just good with it. You have to read the study material, understand the formats, refer to the mock test papers, attempt the mock test papers, and you will know where you stand. Okay? Fine. Now, okay, no queries. So now I'm requesting all of you, Sahana, Akib, Janvi, Kriti, Tahira, Angel, Yamini, everybody, have a look at this. Roshni, please ameliorate. Ameliorate. That's the pronunciation, Roshni. देवांश ज्यादा ग्लास फैक्ट्री के लिए नहीं बोलते हैं. Yeah, I'm not showing the perfect example right now, Palak. I'll do that later. Iska kar lo, then I'll show you the example. Okay. This is the Precis I've written. I'll show you once I start getting your answers. Then you can also compare what I've written and what you have written. Have a look at everything. Underline the words which you did not understand. Of course, here you might not be able to underline, but आप एक notebook में note down करके refer to a dictionary, see the meaning of the word, and then tell me the Prezi. I am not telling you any meaning today. I'm going to ask you the meanings. ठीक है? आप सबके पास इंटरनेट है, आप सबके पास डिक्शनरी है, आप 1 मिनट लगा के जरूर मीनिंग्स फाइंड आउट कर सकते हो. इट इज नॉट अ बिग टास्क. अगर आप लोग टाइम दे सकते हो टीवी देखने का, ओटीटीज देखने का, तो इंग्लिश के वर्ड्स तो बहुत ही जरूरी. And as a personal suggestion, I'm saying do at least 5 vocabulary words, because BCR के paper में find the word which has a suitable synonym, find the word which has a suitable antonym. Such kind of questions might come. It will be very direct vocabulary, but अगर हमें word का meaning नहीं पता, then we are completely lost. We have lost the game because you cannot guess. It is not a question where I can solve. It is not maths. It is not physics where I can derive. It is not accounts where I can add and subtract and come to a conclusion where I'm matching my balance sheet. ऐसा नहीं होता है इंग्लिश में. अगर आपको वर्ड पता है तो पता है, गेस करोगे तो मोस्टली गलत ही गेस होता है. Okay, so I always tell my students, don't make wild guesses. Fine, I'll just keep quiet for a minute and then आप लोग please अपना Prezi attempt करके send करिए. I hope you are understanding every line. Pay attention, don't hurry. There is no reason to hurry. Even if you take 10 minutes, it's okay with me. I can wait, but the passage should be clear. There are words like analyze, assimilate, logistical measures, logistics, documentation, multi-tier, intermediary. आराम से study करो, refer to a dictionary, refer to the internet, find out the meaning. Finished, everybody? Have you finished reading? Miss R, it's okay if you don't know any word in the paper. कई बार ऐसा हो जाता है. It's not that you can know all the English language words, isn't it? So we should learn how to overcome the fact that अगर एक word नहीं आता है, क्या हम उसको जाने बिना भी एक प्रेसी लिख सकते हैं? It is possible. Okay? ठीक है साक्षी, I'm giving you time. Please read it. Okay, once again, Ruhani, you've done a good job. I like your answer. Kushi well attempted. So Kushi and Ruhani have sent their answers till now, and both appear to be correct. Remember to give a title, please. finished, everybody? I'm waiting for all of you. I'll wait for 30 more seconds. Please finish it fast. Saurav, you can have a look at the study material. It has a lot of examples, solved examples. You can have a look at the revision test papers. That also has a lot of examples. That probably will help you with more options and you will be able to understand better. Very good written, Shazia. Well done. Good job, Akib. This time yours is better than last time. Very well written. Good written, Satya and Somali. Both of you have written. Meshwa, you have to check with the ICI office. I don't know about downloads. I read yours, Akib. It's correct. Okay, Harshita, good. Khushi, well attempted. Jia, again, well attempted. Good answer. Mansi and Palak, I'm reading yours. Good. This time I can see a very good improvement from what you had done last, the child labor example, to what you're doing in this logistics example. That itself shows that you have kind of understood. Very good, students. I'm really obliged. Thank you so much for paying this much attention, because bina samjhe, bina sune, you will not be able to attempt it. So this clearly shows that some amount of hard work is coming from your side. And I'm really happy to see that. Yes, I saw Harshita, I saw yours, Khushi. I've read also, I'm reading Gia's. That's the last one I've received. Some of you have made a couple of spelling mistakes. It's probably because you're typing on your phone or a small screen. That's okay. But in exam time, please avoid spelling mistakes. Okay, so fine. Thank you so much. Yamini has attempted, Krishna and Dolly have attempted. I'll show you my Prezi Akib. That'll actually tell you what's the difference between what is like a very good written Prezi and when you are still writing. Okay. Good, Krishna and Yamini, just that some sentences are a little disconnected. Please make sure you put them in a logical order. Janani, for you also, good written. Dolly, it's correct, but again, I'm saying the sentences are a little broken. Just connect them. Okay, so last is Lavina. I'm just reading Lavina's and then I'll change my slide. Lavina, I find your answer to be very scattered. बहुत फैला हुआ है. It's not consistent. So work on that. Trading chain, ठीक है. You can write that, Dolly. I'm sorry, how do I call out your name? Suchiang. Good job. Tahira, your title is really good. Tahira, I think you can reduce the number of words. Okay. So now I'll show you my Prezi. This is what I have written. You can all have a look and compare to whatever you had written, because I will not be able to compare all your answers. Please have a look. Palak, I've read yours. Are you getting the difference? Are you getting what exactly the good points are? What all are the main points? I should not be saying good points, but what exactly are the main points which actually have some significance in the main story? ठीक है, अब आप देखो डिफेंस के बारे में लिखना है, लॉजिस्टिक्स को एक्सप्लेन करना है, बताना है लॉजिस्टिक्स क्या होता है, उसको एनालाइज कैसे करते हैं, एंड दैट इट प्लेज अ वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट रोल, हेंस इट इज कॉल्ड द बैकबोन इन बिजनेस एंड इट डिसाइड्स द सक्सेस. So successful business is very much dependent on the flow of goods and supplies, which is nothing but the logistics. Okay, that's a very important marketing trend also. Besides the 4 P's of marketing, one important factor of marketing is how much of your supply chain is sorted, how much of your flow of good is very smooth. The moment you have breaks in supply, the customer starts feeling unhappy and you lose track. Okay, so that is why it's called the backbone in business. Okay, Jia. Okay, Sahana, I've seen yours. I told you, Satya, your Prezi was nice. It was good. It was okay with the number of words. The length is not an issue. Just that some sentences could have been improved. It will be very difficult for me to give each and every one of you a feedback. So I'm trying to read most of your answers so that those who are attempting at least get a feedback and you know whether you're doing the correct job. Okay, fine. Let's move on. So here I just had something. It's a small example. What we are, what we believe is in ours alone. This is like an abstract passage, more towards philosophy. So I've just given you the keywords because the keywords do matter. Now, if you get a passage like this, which is hardly 5.5 to 6 lines in itself, the presi kitna hoga? So this is a problem here because if I have a longer passage, अगर मेरे पास 10 lines का passage है तो मैं 5 lines का presi लिख सकती हूँ, but मेरे पास passage ही 5 lines का है तो my presi should not be more than 2 lines. And this is an easy job because philosophy based passages या abstract based passages या linguistic based passages में ज़्यादा content नहीं होता है. The words itself are so heavy. It's called heavy content. Okay. बिकॉज ऑफ द हैवी कंटेंट आप ज्यादा डिस्कशंस नहीं करते हो, आप बस कीवर्ड्स पे ध्यान देते हो, उन कीवर्ड्स को देखते हुए आप अपना प्रेसी लिख लेते हो. ठीक है, जिया, अगेन आई टोल्ड यू वर्ड लिमिट नहीं होती है, इट्स नॉट स्पेसिफाइड, बट यू हैव टू कीप इट एज शॉर्ट एज पॉसिबल. इतना बस याद रखो. ओके, सो फाइनली आके हाउ कैन आई ओवरकम इट, मतलब ये तो बहुत लंबा प्रोसेस है ना. यू हैव टू कीप प्रैक्टिसिंग, हर रोज एक प्रेसी प्रैक्टिस करोगे तो अपने आप ओवरकम हो जाएगा. इट्स लाइक लर्निंग हाउ टू ड्राइव अ कार. अनलेस यू गो एंड सिट इन द कार एंड ड्राइव इट, यू कांट से आई नो हाउ टू ड्राइव. And also when you know how to drive, you need to practice it regularly. Take the car all on your own, see the traffic conditions, put yourself in different situations and then drive. So it's more about how you familiarize yourself with various situations in real life. In this chapter, it's more about familiarizing yourself with the different styles of questions. जितना आप familiar हो जाओगे, उतना आपके लिए easy होता है किसी भी question को attempt करना. That's why I keep repeating. See the question paper जो mock के form में है या revision के form में है. Okay, निशी, वेटेज आप चेक करना अपने आप. Okay, now we're discussing steps for presi writing. So when I see my passage, first thing is I'm going to read it. जल्दी नहीं करना, साथ साथ presi नहीं लिखना चाहिए. That's a blunder. You will be committing a crime if I see कि आपने passage पढ़ा नहीं है और आप first line को देख के एक point बना रहे हो, second line को देख के एक point बना रहे हो. ऐसे नहीं करना होता है presi. ठीक है? First is read the main passage and get the idea, get a hold of exactly क्या कह रहा है author, हो क्या रहा है discussion में. अगर वो ही नहीं आप कर पाओगे, then you will not be writing a good Prezi. Okay? Fine. Next is filtering out. Language में या BCR में या communications में filter is a very important word. Why? Because बहुत सारी information ऐसी होती है which is not of that much use. I will not say it's a waste, but it is not of that much use as compared to some other information. इसीलिए I should know how to select the important points and use it in my answer, use it in my summary, in my Prezi, in my note making, and remove all the unwanted information. ठीक है? So decision making, sorry, decision making about what is important and what is not, you have to be very strong. And you know, honestly, let me tell you, ये जो छोटे छोटे डिसीजंस आप लेते हो ना लाइफ में, जैसे कौन सा टॉपिक इंक्लूड करना है, कौन सा छोड़ना है, all this actually helps you in becoming a good decision maker. So when you see big people like, you know, Mr. Narayan Murthy, Mr. Elon Musk, and all these big time industrialists, of course, Mr. Ambani, you see the kind of decisions they make. हम लोग इतना नहीं समझ पा रहे कि कितना कंटेंट लिखना है, कितना कंटेंट छोड़ना है. वहां पे आप देखो $1 billion डील्स हो रही हैं. इमेजिन द काइंड ऑफ रिस्क दे आर टेकिंग. सो अगर हमें अच्छा डिसीजन मेकर बनना है, हमें रिपीटेड प्रैक्टिस करके अपने आप को इतना कॉन्फिडेंट बना लेना है दैट आई विल नॉट गेट एनीथिंग रॉन्ग बिकॉज आई नो माई सब्जेक्ट. That strong feeling should be there when you go for a BCR paper, and I am there to support you. For any doubts, you can write to the institute. आपके पास mail ID है. I can help you with the queries, but make sure आप paper को happily and confidently attempt करो. ठीक है? Okay. Third one, a suitable crisp title. Crisp लिखा है, फिर आप सब पूछोगे crisp क्यों लिखा है? क्योंकि टाइटल्स हमेशा छोटे होने चाहिए. I don't want like a राजा मौली की मूवी टाइप के टाइटल्स जो नो लंबे लंबे चल रहे हैं, एक पूरा बाहुबली का एपिसोड बन गया है. ऐसे टाइटल्स नहीं लिखने हैं. टाइटल हमेशा होना चाहिए आई कैचिंग, शॉर्ट, टू द पॉइंट, एंड इट कवर्स द एसेंस, एंड इट शुड फोर्स मी टू रीड इट. मैं अगर इतना लंबा एक टाइटल देखूं जो 4 मिनट तक चल रहा है, आई विल नेवर रीड दैट पैसेज, एंड दैट्स वेस्ट फॉर यू बिकॉज किसी ने पढ़ा ही नहीं. ओके, so title should be that. Rough draft. Now here there is a little discussion. Some students say कि ma'am we fall short of time, तो rough draft बनाने का तो time होता ही नहीं है exam में. In that case, you can just put down all the important points in the form of a bullet in the right side, towards the right side of the sheet, and you can say it's a rough one. But when you are practicing at home, when you're doing self-study, when you're practicing for your exam, at that point of time, you can make a rough draft. Rough draft is just a way of making sure that whatever you are writing is important. Initially, you can do it, but as in when you get hold over the topic, over Prezi, you can stop doing the rough draft because there are no extra marks for doing the rough draft. I will only check the Prezi. The teachers will only check the Prezi. But it's just for your benefit that you should have written a rough draft. Okay. Reread it and cut it short. Now, this is a very strong advice I'm giving you. जब आप rough draft लिख लेते हो, just reread it once, go through it once, and then see, can I still cut more words? Can I still cut more lines? Are they making any difference in the story? Because sometimes the question does not mention the word limit, then I'm completely stuck. फिर मुझे अपने discretion से सोचना है कि कितना लंबा या छोटा Prezi होना चाहिए. जितना छोटा होगा with all the information, उतना better होता है, उतना best होता है. So cutting words without relevant meanings is one thing which you can do. And last of all, for any question, I say that please read your final draft. If you are not reading, तो क्या होता है? You miss out on something. या आपने एक ही चीज को repeat कर दी है. Repetitions and omissions are something you should avoid. And please hence read your final draft. Okay. Again, I just now said, Komalpreet, rough draft is not mandatory in the exam. I don't want to see the rough draft, but it's a suggestion. If you do a rough draft, you will be doing a better job. Okay? Palak, have you attempted any mock test paper? किया है कोई आपने attempt? पहले एक MTP attempt करो. पैटर्न देखो, नंबर ऑफ क्वेश्चंस देखो, कौन सा क्वेश्चन 2 मार्क्स का है, कौन सा क्वेश्चन ज्यादा मार्क्स का है. टुवर्ड्स द एंड यू हैव क्वेश्चंस व्हिच हैव अ higher weightage like resume writing, report writing, because it's a detailed question. And questions like differentiate between, some aspects of communication, or maybe find the word which means the same as, or active passive voice. All these are 1 marker questions, so they can be dealt with easily. But जो writing वाला part है, जहाँ ज्यादा weightage है, उसके लिए I'm suggesting please read and practice. Okay. Dolly, rough draft is basically the rough work you do before you actually bring out the final paper. Okay, that's called the rough draft. Okay. So that was it from my side. We are done with the Prezi. The most important thing is this and the keywords and these 5 C's. If these 3 things are clear, then I think you are really good to go for the exam. Okay, so there is a doubt. Let me check. Deepika, there is no quick magic solution. If you can't find words, you should keep reading something along with you, which is in English. Then those vocabulary words start getting in your mind. And जब आप बोलते हो, वो mind से बाहर आके आपकी tongue पे, आपकी conversation में आ जाते हैं. Tahira, Prezi is always to be written in the summary form, in the paragraph form. वो आपको जरूर याद रखना है. It's not possible कि आप Prezi को pointers में लिखो या Prezi को bullets में लिखो. Don't do that. Khushi, changes are not necessary, but if you only pick up those sentences with all your Prezi, then that's not correct. If you're picking up 1 word, acceptable. If you're picking up 2 words, acceptable. But if you're picking up all the words, then it's not acceptable. Okay? Thank you, Sahana. Thank you so much for your appreciation. The way I teach helps you. My only purpose is to make you familiar with the different aspects of Prezi writing. अगर कोई भी ऐसा टॉपिक है जहां आप स्टक हो जाते हो, I personally will feel bad because I'm trying my best that everybody raises to a level where you do the BCR paper in a very smart way. Okay, so any doubts for Prezi, anything you want to ask me, anything you want to tell? We have a second part of Prezi writing also, which will probably which is happening day after. So you should, after the class, whenever you have time today or tomorrow, please practice a couple of examples. Please practice a couple of questions that will make you familiar. कोई भी एग्जाम में अगर आप फेमिलियर होते हो ना क्वेश्चन से, तो आधा टाइम तो आपका वहीं बच जाता है, आधा कॉन्फिडेंस आपका वहीं बूस्ट हो जाता है. ठीक है, क्लियर है सबको? समरी क्या है, प्रेसी क्या है, कितना लिखना है, कितना अवॉइड करना है? Coherence, Asha, means consistent, reasonable answers, logical answers. That is coherence. ठीक है? Thank you, Ruhani. Thanks very much. Thank you, Jia. Monish, you should avoid. If you have missed a topic, then it's better if you include it in the position. बहुत ज़्यादा problem है कि आप पहले ही लिख चुके हो and there is no space, तो आप थोड़ा आगे पीछे कर सकते हो. But suggested यही है कि इसीलिए हम rough draft में points लिखने को बोलते हैं. So that मुझे पता है कि पहले मुझे एक suppose एक attack हुआ है, या कोई अभी टाइटन सिंकिंग का स्टोरी आई थी. सो इट्स इजी, अगर मैं उस स्टोरी को पहले पढ़ लूं, फिर मैं नंबर 1 लिखूं पहले कहाँ सिंक हुआ, क्यों सिंक हुआ, रीजंस दिए हैं, कितने लोग इंजर हुए, एंड फाइनली डिजास्टर मैनेजमेंट की तरफ से क्या एफर्ट्स आ रहे हैं. इफ आई डू इट इन अ सर्टेन ऑर्डर, आई विल नेवर मिस आउट द पॉइंट्स. दैट्स द रीजन आई एम इंसिस्टिंग, ट्राई एंड फाइंड टाइम फॉर रफ वर्क. अगर टाइम मिलेगा ना, तो डेफिनेटली आपका आंसर परफेक्ट होगा. And always remember, ये सब सिर्फ BCR के पेपर के लिए नहीं है. It's a long-term learning. As accomplished CAs also, you should be knowing all this. Okay. So thank you so much, Mr. Om. Thank you, Shravani. Thanks a lot. Pratyuksha and Khushi, thank you so much, Sneha. It's so nice to get such wonderful comments from all of you. I'm also happy to be in a class where I'm getting such prompt responses. You are an active audience. It feels good because, you know, if I have a passive audience, nobody is answering, then even your motivation levels go down. And I see a spark in you students. I see that you want to attempt it. आप बहुत मन से सीखना चाहते हो. Some of you are asking such wonderful conceptual based questions, such meaningful questions. So it actually helps me that, you know, next class I'll come up with better examples, better analogies, and a better understanding, right? Thank you so much, Sneha. I like that cute bouquet and a trophy you have sent. Thank you so much for all the kind words and all the accolades. This was the end of the first session of Precis Writing. We'll see each other again on Saturday with the second part. Till then, keep smiling, keep reading, keep writing, and enjoy the BCR paper. Thank you so much. Have a wonderful afternoon. Thank you, guys.